Welcome to episode 1 of the Small Business Show. My name is Swire from Garuda Promo. This episode we have one of the top sales from Sunrun, Jonathan Brunasso. He is in retail sales for his career, and he also an MBA. So today we would like to talk to Jonathan to ask questions for him to share some of his sales techniques. Welcome, Jonathan.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Swire.
So tell us a little bit more about your professional background and how did you get into solar?
Definitely, and thank you for having me on the show. So a little bit about my background professionally. You know, I started at Verizon Wireless, and before that even Best Buy, doing sales and management. And I was going to Cal Poly, and I was getting my undergrad degree. And then I started at Verizon Wireless, and that's when I started my master's. So I had this retail, sales, and management experience. I did really well at Verizon Wireless for about 6-7 years. And then I found myself in a place where I took a couple months off, and I decided, let me see what's out there. Let me get my real estate license. I was studying for that. And then someone told me about this Solar City company, this Tesla company doing solar panels, and so that's how I heard about solar. But yeah, so I worked for a few of those companies, graduated at Cal Poly Pomona. My hometown's Claremont, and we're actually at the Claremont Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, so I'm a member. We're both members here, and I love it. Yeah, so that's a little bit about my background and getting into solar. About 5 years ago, like I mentioned, that friend's like, hey, I work for Solar City. Elon Musk's two cousins run Solar City. We're doing solar panels. You should take a look. And I interviewed. I did really well, and next thing you know, I've been doing solar for the last 4 or 5 years.
Wow, and you like it so far?
I love it. Yeah, you know, I think it's cool because it's really at the forefront of Edison rates are rising, there's fires, there's blackouts, there's tax credits going away, there's incentives. All new homes in California legally require it. So it's like this perfect storm of why solar is so popular right now. So and at the end of the day, it's really cool to like feel good about clean energy, better for the environment.
Agree.
So, yeah.
And since you mentioned you had a lot of experience about retail sales, normally when you think about MBA degree, people think about a lot of the theory that they teach you in the classroom. How are you able to translate those education that you have into the retail sales?
Partly getting the degree and the master's, Verizon had tuition reimbursement, and I knew that would set me apart when I applied and interviewed for other companies or positions. So part of it was wanting to set myself apart. And as well, the cool thing about master's degree is that it's a three-way learning approach, right? It's student to student, professional to professional, teacher to student, and student to teacher. And you do a lot of case studies.
Okay.
So you actually go through businesses, example businesses, other companies that have become successful, their marketing strategies. So I think being able to have the case studies and teamwork is huge. You work on teams to accomplish lots of projects and presentations. So I definitely took some of those valuable lessons in management, and was able to apply that to the retail sales.
Okay, so you definitely think that's a value into getting the higher education in marketing and sales and applying to the real world.
If you have the time. I liked education, and I just finished my bachelor's and went straight to master's.
Wow, and you knew you wanted to do that?
I knew I wanted to do it. My identical twin brother, he finished his bachelor's and went into his master's, so I had to do the same thing as well.
Competitive.
I couldn't not do it. So I think it is valuable. I think it sets you apart, but you really have to probably ask yourself, should I go on the path of career and experience and workplace, or should I exhaust the education, or maybe do both if you can? But
I've been following you on social media. I know that you spend quite a lot of time in digital marketing, and I've seen you everywhere on all the platforms. Can you let us know first of all, what platform that you're currently on, and then for what you do and for what you can see for a sales professional, which platform give you the most reward, I would say?
Right. Yeah, that's a great question. That's a lot to do with my success recently.
Really?
As well. You know, I follow a few people online, like Gary Vee is a big advocate of social media, and it's a free platform. You know what I mean? You can post on Facebook, community groups are powerful. If you go to an event and those are like-minded professionals, maybe those are potential clients, I always say you should add them.
Okay.
You know? So if it's networking events, if you're at a chamber event or other networking events, and those potential clients or networkers, just because you're not direct friends with them, I utilize social media and I look at it as business, more so than seeing pictures of my friends' cats. So
right.
I recommend, and I was instructed, years ago in the real estate world, you should be at 5,000 friends.
Wow.
If you're in sales and you're trying to sell to people, whether it's real estate, solar, anything, there's no reason why you shouldn't be at 5,000 friends. It's a free platform. People are going to look at your content. So that's my belief around social media. And I really started believing that about 2 years ago.
Okay.
I wanted to add people, and I wanted them to see my posts either about real estate or now about solar, and just see it more and more. So I would add people at every event I attended to. I brought my real estate background and my Verizon and my Cal Poly days and all these different spheres of people, and now they're on social media and I can speak to them on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Those are my top three, especially Facebook and Instagram. And I think it's important to look at your demographic. I'm 34 years old, so a lot of my friends are on Instagram and they're following my feed and my content, and you'll never know. I'll get a message saying, hey, my mom's looking at solar, my neighbor's thinking about solar, I saw a friend post on Nextdoor app, can I give him your information? This happens almost every few days or every week for me. Yeah.
Okay.
It's really valuable. So Facebook and Instagram, know your demographic, know your different spheres, and then LinkedIn I've realized to be more powerful than I thought.
Oh yeah?
In the last year or so, I started posting more and more on LinkedIn, and now everyone at Sunrun knows me. Managers know about me that I haven't even met. Someone yesterday said that in their Tuesday meeting in Orange County that my name got brought up because they know how well I do and they see me all over LinkedIn.
That's great.
So it's really cool having that, visibility. And on LinkedIn, hundreds or thousands of people see my post across their feed. And that's free. And so I just absolutely think it's super valuable. And then the last one that I haven't really got onto too much is Twitter. But Twitter, I can actually post something and tag the CEO of Sunrun, Lynn Jurich, and she'll actually like my post.
Wow.
Which is really cool. So
would you, let's say for Facebook, right, would you separate, do you have a business account that you post your things, or so you have different accounts that for business and personal use?
Yeah, there's a few different ways to maybe do that. I do have a personal page, and then I do have a professional business solar consultant page.
Okay.
And I try to keep the personal one a little bit more light, not so much sales or not 100% solar, but I will definitely throw in some of my work activities there. And then the professional page I'll post on as well. So I use both interchangeably. I just think it's good to have both. But I think that posting it on the personal page does get a lot of visibility as well. And then for Instagram, I do have a kind of a personal Instagram, and then I have one, same thing, that's 100% dedicated to John Brunasso, solar consultant.
Okay, because I followed you on all the platform, and I think the pictures that you post are like mini case study. So potential client could see it. Jonathan, really helping out his client, and he will do a job and consult with them. He actually go to the site when they actually install the solar panel, and he looks fun doing it.
Hope so. Yeah.
And I think it's with a lot of ads that we see nowadays on any social media platform. Like I think it's kind of genuine that can see it's not an ad that buy me now, buy now,
right.
And you're actually showing that you're there to help, which is a whole advocate. I think you want to be a consultant and not a pushy salesperson.
Absolutely, yeah. I couldn't agree more. That's something that's taken a while to learn, to get to that point, to just provide the value. People want to see your successes and your accomplishments. They want to see, hey, this person was spending this much. Now with my help, they're only spending this much. So giving more content. What I've noticed on Facebook or Instagram, if you type a longer description, it just gets more visibility. It comes across more people's feeds. So take the time to craft a little statement that's valuable. Like you said, can't be pushy, can't be salesy. Providing that value, I think, has been very beneficial. And I always say, throw in some jokes, throw in something funny, keep it lighthearted. If you go straight for the jugular, straight for the sale, you'll turn people off. And so you really need to be multifold in your approach of some funniness, some lightheartedness, some jokes, your value, maybe a case study. And of course, people like seeing pictures of yourself. So if you can, I don't do too many selfies. I don't know about you. Some people do all selfies.
Sometimes it depends.
Every now and then. But what I've read is that if you can get behind the camera in the picture, the likes and the interaction will go up.
Really? Didn't know that. Okay. Yeah, because I think for social media, what you touch on is correct, because I recently have a company reach out to me on LinkedIn. Didn't know that, but then the buyer actually told me, we've been watching you for 6 months on LinkedIn, like with everything that you post. And we look at your website, we look at all the things that you have said, and now we are ready to have a conversation with you.
That's awesome.
So I think sometimes people want to debate on certain things, and everything that you post personally and in business are out there. So I would say, if you do want it to have a different personal life, keep it separate.
Right.
For things that you post for business, I would say, strictly for business or related to it, because what you said online is, that's going to be a records of it.
Right. It's public, definitely. And to that point, I always, read and heard that if someone sees your content 7 to 9 times, that's when it finally sets in. So by using social media as a platform to get to those people, and they'll eventually see it, and 6 months later, it'll hit, and then you'll receive the message and earn the business. So definitely.
And I wanted to ask you this question for a while now, and I know that you're one of the top sellers at Sunrun. So obviously you have a lot of experience and you're good at what you do. I think a lot of us in sales would like to know, how do you handle price objection? We'll sometimes have clients that like to shop around, and they spend a lot of time researching, and they get like 10 quotes for something.
Sure.
Obviously you sell solar, a higher dollar amount, and how would you respond to those? And do you compete on price at all?
Yeah, great question. That's a pretty big question. And that's happened to me many times, where I sit down at the table with a client and they have 4 proposals in front of them.
Wow.
Yeah, so it can be pretty tough. I've always done things the same way ever since I started in solar. And I think one of the differentiators for myself is just being the professional, giving the value, being the teacher, giving the information of how solar works. So by going through a presentation that I have, by going through a slide deck, by showing them how it works and what their bill will look like before and after solar and the different steps and the timeline, just taking that extra time and then talking about the company that you represent. What do the warranties look like? What's the reputation of the company that you're selling? How many customers have went with you and why? So by laying that foundation and then giving them the price, as long as you're somewhat in the running, usually it's really well received because you separated yourself from the competition. So that's one of the ways that I've been able to overcome price is the company that I'm representing, as well as you get me, the individual, as I'm the differentiator and I show you all the different steps of how it works. Because any other sales rep might just come in, be pushy, give them the dollar amount and not take the time to do any of that. So that's one of the ways. But at the end of the day, I mean, it is a numbers game. You know, if I get 30 leads and I sit down with 10 people, you know, and I sign up 4, it just is what it is. You will never be the cheapest person out there. Joe and Larry Solar, you know, glass in a truck guy on the street might be able to do it a little cheaper. So yeah, just reinforcing the company, what you get, the value, showing the value of the company. And then as far as price matching goes, you know, with Sunrun, we actually sell panels through Costco. And so that name reputation people trust really well. It already comes with a good price, a good gift card, and good incentives back. I can work with my manager to do maybe an appeasement, like a one-time exception or a gift card if I have to win over the deal. So those are a few things, but it's tough in the marketplace.
One of the things I like to tell our customer is, you know, a lot of time you get what you pay for, and if you're in the similar industry, like solar, there is an industry standard with all the components, all the equipment, per se, all the labor costs that involve. If someone comes out a lot cheaper, then what's missing? You know, there a lot of time if there's a service not being performed or they don't use a certain protocol, industry standard, they can be cheaper. But are you willing to sacrifice, especially something that is beyond your roof? Would you sacrifice quality for price?
Absolutely, yeah. And to be industry specific, and I think you should all look at your own niche, but when I can show them a graph of 1,200 other Sunrun homeowners within a 5-mile radius of their home, being the nation's largest, buying it from Costco, and I can sit there and say, is your other company going to be around in 6 years when there's an issue with the system, when it's not turning on, when the roof has an issue? The Sun, Solar, Lux, Optimum, Max, blah, blah, like, are they still going to be around? And a lot of times they'll go like, you know,
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. And been doing this so long and all over social media, I get a call at least once or twice a month. Hey, my solar company's not in business. What do I do?
Wow. Horror stories.
Yeah, it's not great. So you have to keep all those things in mind. You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last question that I have for you today. You're one of the top salesperson at Sunrun this year. Besides customer service, what sets you apart from anyone that is selling solar right now?
What sets me apart? That's a tough question. It goes back to my daily habits, my daily rituals, and everything I do, you know, that I've been doing in solar for years now. I think one of the things that sets me apart is my communication, always being accessible via text message, phone call, email. You know, in my business, it's 24/7. I'll get a text message at 9 p.m.
Wow.
saying...
And you answer it.
I will sometimes, yeah. Some people want appointments on the phone call, 8:30 p.m., 7 p.m. I'll get a text at 9 p.m. So making yourself very accessible, text message, email, phone calls, I think is very important in today's day and age. There's other people they can go with and sign up with. So you have to be able to give a response, have an answer, be available, sign the agreement right away. So that's one part to it. Another part, just going back, is being the professional, providing the value, not being pushy, providing the education. That's minimum. That's a requirement. And having the confidence and the experience, answering every question confidently, not being pushy, that's also a requirement. You have to have that. And so when you're referred, especially when your business can grow to being more referrals, you already have someone that trusts you referring you to someone that they trust, and vice versa. So that's when it becomes a little bit easier, actually, because you're getting the more referrals and you're generating more of your own business.
That's the best way, because they obviously, the referrer have seen what you have done for them. So that's
absolutely, that solves a lot of things, because going back to the price question from earlier, or the trust, or different elements of it, referrals also close at a higher percentage rate as well. So that's really when it gets a little bit easier. But just being the professional, working all day and night is a lot of times it was 5-6 days a week when it's busy, 10-hour days, 12-hour days, and just really working a lot, being accessible, being confident. And as far as other elements, the social media piece, there's only a few of us in the country for solar that are this visible on social media, all the platforms, posting a lot, having the most friends on social media, mostly for business, being a part of a BNI networking group, being part of a chamber of commerce, working on my social media presence. It's kind of multifold for me, but really social media and networking, like BNI and chamber, those have been my two strong points. Last two answers, your follow-up has to be flawless.
okay.
You have to follow up. You call them the next week, send them a text 2 weeks later, send them an email a month later, 2 months out, send them an email, send them a text, and guess what? They'll say, hey, now we're ready, come over and sign up. I cannot tell you how many of my sales are like that, over and over and over. Other people will give up after 2 or 3 times. Oh, they didn't get back to me. So your follow-up, your CRM, whatever you use, your check-ins with your customers has to be on point. And then lastly, following up with your past clients, staying in contact with them, emailing them valuable information, asking them for referrals, of course, and by taking care of them and showing them you care, that also is a way to continue to get more referrals. So by doing all these things for the last 4 years, religiously, especially the last 2 years, a little bit more social media, this year it allowed me to get to a place where I'm having my best year I've ever had.
That's great.
Yeah.
So as we know, it's not easy to go to the top, but from Jonathan, if you have the right mindset, have the right tools, and you might be able to get to the top. And Jonathan, if a viewer wants to get in touch with you, what would be the best way?
Yeah, you can just find me on Facebook or Instagram at John Brunasso, Brunasso, Facebook or Instagram, on LinkedIn as well. And then my cell phone number as well is 909-964-9632.
And we'll put Jonathan's information on the message page below so people can see it. Thank you so much for your time, Jonathan.
Yeah,
it's been
appreciate
fun.
it, Swire.
Thank you.
Thank you.